Hi everybody, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Share with Havali. I'm so sorry, there were two people who joined in just now, Trudy and another person. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you guys were on. I had to restart the live due to technicalities, so please feel free to join again. Hi Patricia, how are you? I'm just gonna wait a little bit and allow some persons to come on for my Sunday Share live with Havali. I missed last week's Sunday Share. I know that some of y'all might have noticed, but oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. How are you doing? Hi, Katania. So I'm just gonna allow more people to join in. That was RX Ted M. Hi Malika, I see y'all coming in. Go. Hi Trudy. See all familiar faces on here, and I know I can't stop smiling. So guys, hi, how are you? Last Thursday I had Trudy, please don't come with it here. Trudy just called me Funana, and it was just this inside joke when we were in high school. Myself, Trudy, and Abby would pass this Rastaman, and he would say one of us is Shami, one is Shalice, and one is Funana. And I believe that was either Trudy or Abby. They were Funana. I definitely was not Funana. But hi Kate, hi Caris, hi. Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait just a couple more seconds. Let's maybe say 60 seconds. I'm gonna do a countdown. Who wants to do a countdown for me? How is everybody doing today? Happy Sunday. I hope your day is going great and that your week will be even better. I'm not sure if you can tell, but some people knew that I moved into a new space and I'm really just enjoying it. So yay me. I have an important announcement to make, so I'm just allowing more people to come in, even though I'm gonna be saving the live. I'm just waiting for more people, because you know, when it's live and the energy is there and you're interacting with people, it's much nicer. Okay Patricia, see you in a few. Yeah, so I have an important announcement, and this is gonna be big for some people. You all are gonna love it, especially if you're planning to move here to Canada. This is gonna be in your favor, I believe. So hurry up and come. May the Lord hasten the footsteps of those people on their way, because I want to tell you what's happening. All right. I think my 60-second is almost over. Guys, I was saying before Trudy interrupted me, my train of thought, that I had a webinar this past Thursday, and the feedback I've been getting so far is that it was good, but I'm sure like people did not recognize that I wasn't feeling well. I had all this sinus issue going on. No, Melika, there's no need for you to be nervous, honey. It's good stuff. It's all good news. That's what happened when you're waiting in anticipation. It's like, you know, your adrenaline system kicking, and then you start getting nervous and anxious and all of that. Just do some deep breathing exercise and you'll be fine. So as I was saying, I digressed, that I did a presentation and I tried to put out my best, but I wasn't feeling well. And if people really actually know me and know the kind of energy that I can bring to a room, they would know that I was just flat. I was monotonous. I was like a certain A&P lecturer. But in any case, no shade. In any case, yes, so I did the presentation, and I appreciate the turnout. I appreciate everyone who signed up, and for those people who were unable to make it in 2 Sundays from now, instead of doing a live, I'll just host another webinar so those people can come on in and hear what I have to share. So I'm gonna change the date. I know that a lot of persons signed up earlier. Yes, I have over quite a number of persons have signed up, and majority of those people have not been able to make the session. So I'm gonna do one on a Sunday afternoon when it seems more people have, you know, a little time to relax. Maybe they can spare an even 15, 30 or 45 minutes out of their time, or they can multitask, because they're not required to be on video. They could just be there doing their thing and they're listening to what I'm saying in the background. Yes, so I will no longer keep you all in suspense. I see that you all are still there. Thank you for joining and thank you for staying. So, Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, is the same as CIC, which is Citizen Immigration Canada. And that is the organization or the body that's responsible for immigration processing. And of course, express entry falls under that umbrella. So as of today, May 22nd, Sunday, May 22nd, they are making a proposition for the Minister of Immigration to be able to select candidates in the pool. Now, if you recall from the I was gonna say lecture, I might as well become a lecturer. If you can recall from the webinar, I did mention that there were over 100 different roads to come to Canada. There are many different immigration streams. So the government allowing, like, they're gonna vote on it, of course. They have to pass that. But if they allow the minister to be able to do that, then that's going to be another stream that's created. Now, the exciting thing here is I also mentioned that age is a major factor for express entry. And so majority of your points will come from, you know, your language proficiency, your education, and your age. And for a lot of people, once they get into age 30, they start losing those points for age. So I think this new stream will make it easier for those people who, you know, the birthday is coming up, the age is creeping up, for those people to also get selected for express entry, because there is a labor shortage. And I did mention that as well. Of course, there are people who are opting or even asking for work permits. And even today I had someone contact me. They got my contact number from someone and they're asking me about a work permit. And that's great. You can also explore those options. I'm just saying, if you're a resident, you have leverage, you have the upper hand, you have the edge. So with the minister being able to select candidate, I think they're going to create a new stream, and then it's going to make it easier for those people who are in the pool to get selected based off like age not being a major criteria. So your education is still important, and your work experience, as well as your there was your education, your work experience, and there was another criteria I almost forgot. Your language proficiency, that is still very important. And a lot of people don't understand that your language proficiency is a big deal. Like, that is one of the single most important factor for people to get into, get selected for express entry, because language can be a barrier, and everything you have to communicate, unless you're, you know, versed in sign language or whatever else skills people use to communicate, eye contact. You can't communicate everything through those nonverbal cues. Hi, I have other persons joining. I see Jessica and Denise on purpose. Thank you for joining in. And yes, I'm just updating people that, hi Sheena. I was just doing a quick update to say that there's a proposed amendment to create maybe a new stream for express entry. So it will allow the Minister of Immigration to select candidates based off their work experience, their education, and their language proficiency only. So your age will not be a barrier for you to get in the pool. Now, for those people who are below age 30, of course, you're going to get the maximum points for age. So if you meet the strict criteria that are already there, great. If you are worried about your age, there's no need for you to worry if this is passed as a bill. So again, in addition to that's how they come about with these streams, like over 100 different routes to get here. Say, for example, there was a need for people in the tech space, and somebody in the express entry, they're like 500 people who are very tech savvy, high tech people. Then what could happen is that if the minister is given the power, they could say, okay, we're going to give an invitation to everyone who has tech as a skill, because we need those people. So if the government the minister gets that authorization, then everybody who has tech skill, regardless if you have a high score or a medium score or whatever your age is, then you will get pulled. And it's the same thing for people who are Francophone or French speaking. Let's say they needed that for an isolated, what they call it, the word has, eluded my mind. Minority, that's the word I'm looking for. Let's say there's a minority community of just French speaking people and they need people for that particular community, then the minister, if allowed, they can create a stream for people who are French as a language proficiency on their profile and just select every candidate who knows French, fluent French. So it's the same thing here. They are going to be emphasizing your adaptability, and your language score actually predicts your adaptability to move into Canada. So the minister will be allowed to, if they pass the bill, they will be allowed to say, hey, you have experience in this particular field as a healthcare provider, and we need those people. It doesn't matter your age at this point. I mean, if you're like 50, 60, it will matter, but you know what I mean? They're looking for the young, vibrant people who want to be a part of the labor force and they want to expand the economy. So they would just say, okay, you're a healthcare provider. We need people for nursing home. You're a nurse. Oh, you're in the express entry pool and you meet all the other requirements. Forget that you're 35. Let me just give you an invitation to apply. So basically, that's what I'm talking about. So that's the new announcement. They are making a proposition or an amendment to the whole stream, and they're going to allow, if it passes, the minister to select. They're basically handpicking candidates, and age is not a strict criteria for this. So if you're not yet in the pool, I encourage you to get in the pool as soon as possible because they're resuming the draws this July. And I'm going to put this live. I'm going to just leave it on my page so that other people can see it. And if you know of anyone who needs the information, feel free to share it with them. And so before I go, hi Dion. My friend Dion has joined the live. And Alyssa. Yes, I'm getting to know the people who are coming on here. If you guys have any question at all about what I just mentioned, feel free to leave it in the comment now, and so I can comment on it or answer your questions. Hi, Shalika. Any questions? No? Everybody good? Okay. All right, I'm not sure how long ago I started this live, but I was just giving an update. Yeah, so I'm actually going to do a post about it. Melika, I'm not sure I understand what you mean being in the pool. Go ahead, Trudy, ask your question. Okay, so in order for you to be in the pool, you have to start the process. That's a given. It's the fact that if you are in the pool, and what we call a pool, and just for clarification, so express entry is basically a points-based system. And so each candidate is assigned a point, like an overall score called a CRS, or Comprehensive Ranking System score. You're given a score based off certain criteria. So when you get your scores like 100,000 people in the pool, it could be more because they're aiming for a target of 432,000 people over the next 2 years or so. Yeah, they're aiming for a lot of people to move here. So there's an opportunity. So you're assigned a number, and then you're all placed in what we call a pool. It's not an actual pool, but you know. So what they'll do is that they will draw the strongest candidate, the people who have the higher score. That's what basically happened. And age is usually a major criteria for that. If you're in the webinar at the point where I mentioned, when you get out of your 20s and you reach 30s, you start losing points for age. Excuse me, just for your age. When you're like closer to age 45, it's like your points are diminishing so much that you almost don't stand a chance, because the cutoff point for express entry outside of Canada, if you're living in Canada, there are other routes you can take. But to self-sponsor outside of Canada, once you get to age 45, that's the cutoff point. You cannot self-sponsor 45 and older. So basically what's happening now is that the minister, they're making a proposition for the Minister of Immigration to be able to select candidates to come here based on their language proficiency, educational background, and employment history, because there is a massive labor shortage and they need to fill that gap. So if you're not in the pool, you will not be selected by the minister when he is, given that authorization. Trudy, what's the application process like, the express entry application process? Do you want a whole rundown from top to bottom? I'm not quite sure how I should approach that question, because I can approach it from many different angles. If you're asking if it is a tedious process, it can be, depends on you as an individual. If you're asking if it is something that can be done by the layman, well, of course, look at me. I did it. Oh no, honey, but you know what? This Sunday share is not the medium for me to do the rundown, but it's basically you just answering questions. It's like any other application. Like you get a form online, of course, on the Government of Canada website, and you just answer the questions. And based on the question, they will just put you in the pool. Now, when they select you, then you have to provide all the documentation for all the information that you put on your profile, basically. But in order to meet those criteria, there are things that you have to do. There are prerequisites. For example, getting your education assessed. And you have to know which body to go through. You have to know where to get your documentation. If you have to get a letter from any authorizing body, etc. So it's a complete process, but just doing it, it's not rocket science, basically. Was there another question that I could answer? Melika, did I answer your question about being in the pool? My apologies. I need to break these things down more, because I'm taking it for granted that I have been doing this research for many, many years. Let's talk about from 2015 to 2022. It's almost 7 years. So I have a lot of. So I apologize about that. Oh, thank you so much, Shalik. I saw your message. Yes, so Melika asked, what does being in the pool mean? You're basically a candidate, a potential express entry, not an express entry, sorry, you're a potential permanent resident candidate. So that's what being in the pool mean. You just submit your application. It's kind of like, let me use a simpler analogy. You have completed your CAPE and your CSEC, and you want to apply to UTech for whatever course, whatever. You're going to do an undergraduate degree. And so you gather all the information that you can. You find out, you go on UTech's website, and you go and you fill in this information, and they give you a number, like a I don't remember if they give you like a registration number or a reference number. And so you fill up your information and you submit it. Now, UTech has your information. So UTech having your information for you to pursue your undergraduate degree, they haven't sent you a confirmation letter that you've been accepted yet. So you applying to UTech would be like you applying to the Government of Canada to say, hey, I'm interested in coming there. So being in the pool would be like you just submitted your documentation. That's it. When you get your confirmation, now that is your invitation to come. Yeah. And that's what is called an invitation to apply, or an ITA. And these are information, and I appreciate the question. So I will try to be more clearer in my communication. So when I'm posting things that people are reading and they're getting the information. But if you're not clear about it, feel free to send me an email and I will try to clarify it for you. Yes, being in the pool means you've submitted your application. So now you're a potential permanent resident client. So let's say, yeah, they just decide, okay, Melika has a strong profile, which I believe she will have. Okay, let's pool her. So they do, it's like, you know, when they're doing Lotto 2 and they just do the draw and these balls come up. So number 1 would be Melika. And they say, okay, Melika got selected. Yeah, but it really is not rocket science. You just need to iron out the details and work out all the intricacies, because if you're not prepared, you're gonna get left behind. You know what they say, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. If you're not in the pool, there's no way that you're gonna be drawn. Okay, that's a great question. How often do they pool? Before COVID, it used to be every 2 to 3 weeks, at least 4,500 to 5,000 people got drawn every 2 weeks. That was the amount. And that's how they were able to meet the targets of getting like even 110,000 people get residency in 1 year, because they're constantly doing draws. No. There is no money involved in submitting your application to the government of Canada. And I thank you so much for that question, my dear. That's how a lot of people get scammed, because people tell them, oh, they need how much thousands of dollars to do this. There is no money involved in submitting your application. You only start paying when they have selected you and you know that you're gonna get your residency. There are a lot of things you have to pay for, like medical, confirmation of your PR, you have to pay for the application, you have to pay for your kids if they're coming, and a spouse if they're coming. So that's when you start paying. Of course, if you enroll the services of like an immigration lawyer, an immigration consultant, an immigration specialist, somebody who knows about immigration, then of course you are required to pay them. Just ensure that you're going through the right entity, or through someone with high moral integrity, or someone who is a trusted character, because you know there are a lot of unscrupulous people out there. But no, to answer your question, no, you do not need to pay any money to do an application. It's free. Okay, so I appreciate you all coming and allowing me to share with you. Melika, I'm not sure what your question is. It says, or how long after application? Okay, I think I get what you're saying. If this is not the case, please correct me. I think you're asking if you could submit your application today and get pooled tomorrow. The answer is yes. If you meet the cutoff point where they're gonna do the pooling and you are in the top candidates, like based on your score, for sure you will be pooled tomorrow. And the reason I didn't come to Canada much sooner is because I had my IELTS grades in my hands, and I just decided that I wasn't going to submit my application just yet, because I know the minute I submitted, I would have been pulled. So I had it for some time before I actually entered the pool. Actually, it was for about 6 months. It was about 6 months after my IELTS that I got pulled. But I didn't submit the stuff because I knew if I did, they would have pulled me the very minute, because I knew where the point standings were, and I knew what my score was. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna submit it right now. Okay, so besides the $10,000, it's not $10,000, my dear. I think I posted it recently, so you can check my on my file. I think it's like 13,600 and something, or 13,700 for a single applicant. That's the amount of money you will need to show the government, but I have it somewhere posted on my profile recently. Yeah. About how much does the application run? Who? The person who is applying for PR? That depends on individual. Again, that depends on each individual's profile, their circumstances, which bodies you have to go through to get your documentation. There are a lot of factors at play. So I wouldn't be able to give you a definitive figure right there. And every day, of course, things are changing. Just like they just recently changed the amount you needed for your settlement as an individual, as a family, etc. All right, so I see y'all are still here. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for coming. I don't think I've had a live this long, and I think it's because I, gave prior notice that I was gonna be on. Usually I just pop on. So I appreciate the questions. I appreciate you coming, and I'm just gonna do a wrap. And for those people who joined much later, and I'm gonna reiterate, and I'm gonna say it again, that there are changes coming to the express entry system, and so the proposed changes that the minister will be able to select candidates for their invitation to apply for residency due to a major shortage of labor here in Canada. So more and more people are moving, and more and more people are moving, and also the birth rate here is very low, and there is a cohort of the population known as baby boomers, and the baby boomers are now seniors and they're living longer, which is a great thing, but because they're no longer able to work and contribute to the society, the government has to be paying them pension, and so they need younger, vibrant, virile people to come and populate the country. There's more than enough land space here. Actually, there are about 38 million people living in Canada, and about 19 of that 38 million live in one single province. Like half of Canada lives in Ontario province, and there are 10 provinces in Canada. So they want people to come and populate and work and, contribute to the economy for so that those baby boomers can live their comfortable lifestyle, but also for people who are seeking opportunities. And by no means do you have to conform to whatever as soon as you get your residency. It's like it's in your hands. You can do with it whatever you want. If you want to go back to school, that option is available to you. If you want to go build something else, if you want to stay here for 3 years, get your citizenship and move to another, that's all up to you. So the opportunities are there. Just don't let it pass you by, and just get going. So I encourage you to get started as soon as possible. I think I have answered all the questions. You guys are very welcome. And again, I'm going to be hosting another webinar, and it's going to be held 2 Sundays from now. I don't remember what the day is. Today is the 28th. 2 Sundays. Can someone tell me what 2 Sundays from now? It's going to be like June 6th. Oh my God. I'm looking for my calendar and I'm not able to find it on my laptop. Yeah, it's the 5th. It's going to be on Sunday, June 5th. I'm going to be doing another webinar. So you guys are absolutely invited to come, and you can come and ask your questions like you did just now, and like you asked your question in the previous one. And even if you were at the first and the second webinar, you are still invited to join the third one. It's going to be on Sunday, June 5th. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a wonderful 2 Sundays from now is not the 11th, Trudy. Two Sundays from now is the 5th. But maybe I should do it on the 11th for sure. Yes, Sheena. And I actually answered that question in the last webinar as well. But I'll be more than happy to answer again. The answer is 60 days. So there was a time prior to June 2019. So June 26, 2019, I remember that day because that's my birthday. So my friend was pooled on June 26, 2019, and she got 90 days to submit her application. she was in the last cohort of people who were able to submit their application within 90 days, because what the government realized was that people were dragging their feet and they were taking a long time to submit the documentation. And at that point in time, they were processing the application so fast that, let's say within 5-6 months, you could be in Canada. People were taking so long, so the government reduced the time. So as of July 2019, you only get 60 days to submit all your documentation. So you have to be on a ball. Also, your IELTS has an expiry of 2 years from the date it was done. So you need to strategize, because you don't want to like do your IELTS, be sitting and waiting in the pool, and then by the time you're pooled, by the time you're selected, that's what pooling means. By the time you're selected, your IELTS is close to expiry, because then you'll have to do the IELTS again. And if your IELTS hasn't expired, I think also when you do your police record and your medical, like they still have to be eligible by the time you'd come to Canada to do your landing. And from the time you get your invitation to the time you get your passport back with all your, legal documents that you're okay and you're good to go, you're cleared to be in Canada, it could take 6 months. So you have to ensure that, you kind of strategize. Hi, Phoebe. You have to strategize and just be intentional about it. Yeah, so thank you for that question, Sheena. I answered it on the last webinar. I'm going to answer it on the next one. You only get 60 days to submit your application. I did say that I submitted mine within 30 days because I had everything. I said I had my IELTS language score. It's IELTS, International English Language Testing System, IELTS. I had my IELTS score in hand for 6 months before I submitted it. And that was 2019. Yeah, that was 2019. So, yes, Phoebe, IELTS is IELTS, and IELTS means International English Language Testing System, which is one of the official English language tests that you have to do to apply for Canadian residency. Oh no, it wasn't Phoebe, it was Sheena who asked that. Yeah, I'm gonna post more. I'm gonna just make a note here, because I was asked some questions that I don't know, maybe because I know these things, I take it for granted that other people already know what they are. So I'm gonna be making posts, and even if I've posted it before, I'm gonna do another one because not everyone saw it. But I'm gonna be posting about the different test requirements, the different types of tests you can do, and also what is a CRS, what is IELTS, what is CRS, etc. The questions that were asked here, basically. So I thank you guys so much for coming, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye.